Today's video was sponsored by me again, obviously. Who else would it be? Anyway, stick around till the end if you want to hear about anime and D&D stuff. Alright, roll the video. Why? Why was this such a highly debated topic? So, not too long ago, I made a short video trying to explain how I thought a fireball would cook a chicken. And to directly quote myself, I said, sure, it might be cooked, but have fun collecting the debris. And yeah, sure, if you don't think about it too hard, then that logic makes sense. But some people pointed out big issues with the video that I didn't consider. And when I started to look into it more, I realized that the actual answer is a lot harder to pin down. Before we continue, I do need to remind everyone that I'm not a science expert, and most of my content is just fun thought experiments. In this video, I'm just messing around with the official D&D rules to get some funny results. So today, I'm blessing you all again with some of the most important info to date. What will happen if you try and cook a chicken with a fireball? To start, let's look at the components in the experiment. We have a chicken. It has 1 health, a plump, juicy body, and no consent for the test we're about to begin. Meanwhile, on the other end, we have a fireball. Basic fireballs do around 28 damage on average, which is important, so keep that in mind. Yes, I know I said, on average, fireballs do like 24 damage, and your typical chicken only has 1 health. The force of the impact is 24 times stronger than the life force of the bird. But that was before my friend Alice pointed out that dice are weird and the damage would actually be higher. So 28 it is. Anyway, magic is strange in D&D because if you ask anyone how a spell looks, feels, or acts in the game, everyone will no doubt have their own unique way of describing the effects. For instance, the official rules for the grease spell doesn't say anything about being able to light it on fire, so most people rule that it can't. However, in the official Baldur's Gate 3 video game, the grease not only ignites, but stays lit for a long time. Keep in mind that it does use 5th edition as the rule system. Because of this huge variance, it's hard to say exactly how a spell should act, because specific descriptions for how they work are left up to the DM's interpretation. Sure, we have the normal numbers, it does a bunch of fire damage, but how does the fire interact with objects? How much fire damage does it take to cook something? Why am I attempting to afford a living by making videos on cooking chickens in D&D with fireballs? So let's start with the first one. What happens to things that get hit by fireballs? Well, there's 2 scenarios. Either the object stays completely still and just falls to the floor dead after being incinerated, or the force of the explosion is strong enough to lift the object through the air. Rules as written, I have to say that anything you hit with this spell stays perfectly still. If Wizards of the Coast intended for objects to fly off after getting hit, then it would have said that. But since I don't want my explodey homies being let down, just know that there's some official D&D art where a fireball can be seen causing stuff to explode and fly off everywhere. So if you want your chickens to soar, there's still hope. Anyway, for cooking the bird, we need enough heat and enough time. I don't care if the chicken burns or turns to ash. The only thing I care about is if it's no longer raw. So how much fire damage do we need to deal to a D&D chicken to consider it fully cooked? Well, your typical chicken takes around 4 hours to cook over an open flame. Different sized chickens and hotter flames make that time vary a bit, but it's a good enough baseline, so let's roll with it for now. We can use the Create Bonfire cantrip to mimic an outdoor campfire, dealing on average 4.5 damage to the chicken every round. In D&D, rounds last 6 seconds. So in order to fully cook this bird, we need to deal 10,800 fire damage. Whoa, that's a heck of a lot more than I was expecting. 10,800? That's enough damage to kill almost 16 Tarrasques, and we're doing this to cook a single chicken. Fireball does 6 times more damage every turn than our scrawny little bonfire ever could, so it's definitely gonna burn most of the chicken's flesh to ash. If you want to completely cook the bird, you're gonna need to throw around 372 fireballs at the chicken over a course of 37 minutes. Until then, the internal temperature of the bird isn't going to be hot enough to cook it. Now on the other end, if you're on team explodey homies, I honestly wish you luck. If you want to rule that a single fireball is going to cause your chicken to tear apart and fly off, I can only imagine what the thing's going to look like after hundreds more. Maybe if you can somehow keep the bird in a single area, it could work. This method definitely cooks the chicken faster, seeing as smaller pieces cook quicker than larger ones, so you might even get away with less fireballs overall at the cost of a less structurally sound bird. Regardless on how you want to throw your fireballs at the chicken, one question remains. How the heck are you going to be able to cast these many fireballs in the first place? Well, for all you lucky wizards out there, eventually you'll get the signature spell ability, which lets you cast fireball like a cantrip. So have fun blasting your food as many times as you want until it's pitch black. I mean, perfectly cooked. So there you have it. Cooking a chicken with 372 fireballs. I fixed my grave mistake, and hopefully you accept my apology. Never will I say that a single fireball has the power power to cook ever again. Because if all this new research has taught me anything, it's that whenever I use my oven at home, I'm dealing enough fire damage throughout the entire cooking process to kill multiple world-ending monsters. Obviously, the math isn't perfect, but this video is more meant to show that it definitely takes more than one fireball to cook a chicken. Hope this little thought experiment was fun. If you enjoyed, then please don't forget to subscribe so we can hit 200k before the end of the year. If you're looking to support the channel even more, I make some amazing anime-style homebrew for D&D 5e over on my Patreon. Unlike YouTube, that takes a lot of this channel's revenue, it's the most direct way you can support more of my projects, and you get yourself some cool D&D materials along the way. If that sounds great, then you can check out the link down below. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next video.